What is going on, guys, and welcome to Bootstrap 4 project. In this project, again, we're going to be working with Bootstrap 4 and Flexbox, and we'll start by creating over here Flexbox menu. We'll see how easy it is to do that. Then again, we're going to create a banner over here with a headings, and then over here with the links, right? And we'll see how to actually style them. Then we're going to create a section like this quality section with font awesome icons. Then we're going to create a project section, right, where we're going to learn how we can create this these type of images together with a text and place the text exactly in the center. And then we're going to look at how to change the order for the smaller screens, right, because our project is going to be Bootstrap 4 responsive, sorry. And over here, we're going to create we're going to look at how to embed responsive video, right, with a new Bootstrap 4, how to do that. And over here, we're just going to create a very simple footer section, right? And again, we're going to be working with Bootstrap 4 and the Flexbox, so everything is going to be responsive and in every screen that we're working on, right? So it's going to be a very, very interesting project. And if you have been following my previous projects that I was doing, the setup is exactly the same, right? This time we just have a different folder. If you haven't, there's actually going to be a link in this description how to set up everything for a project, because we're not going to be wasting time and we're going to be right away jumping to coding. So let's start coding. And as always, the first thing we're going to create is a header section, right? So over here, we can say header section over here. And here we're going to copy this one and copy and paste, and we're just going to say that this is going to be a end of header section, right? End of header section. Now the first element we're going to create is actual header over here like this. We're going to say class, and again it's going to be container fluid over here like this, fluid. And over here we're going to create a div. That's going to be div. And over here, we're going to say class. And this is going to be a banner over here, center. And over here, we're going to say text center over here like this. Then after that, we're going to say again that this is going to be a h1 class. This is going to be display one, right? And over here, we're just going to say this is going to be a strong. And here we're going to say that this is going to be builders, right? We can do all caps over here like this. And then after that, we're going to say that this is going to have a text, right? Underneath here, say that this is going to be a text class over here. And we're going to say that this is going to have a lead, right? This is going to be one of those Bootstrap classes, this text lead. And over here, we're going to say text muted, right? And over here, we're just going to have some dummy text, right? It's going to be lorem. And over here, let's say, I don't know, let's delete all this, right? Till that elit or something like that. Or something like this should be fine. Maybe even a little bit more. Just delete this one too. Right, so now we have that one, and then we're going to create a div that's going to be a underline, right? So over here we're going to go say that this is going to have a div, and this is going to be class, and this is going to have a banner underline like this. And over here we're going to have this one empty, right? And over here we're going to say div class. I'm going to say that this is going to be a button holder like this, right? And within this button holder, we're going to actually place our links, right? So we're going to say that within this button holder, we're going to say a href, right? And this is going to be a dummy one, right? And we're going to say class, and we're going to give it a class of navy button, right? And over here we're going to say quote, and over here all caps, right? And after that we're going to say the other one is going to be for the projects over here like this, and here we're going to say that this is going to be our project, and here this is going to be the white button. This is going to be our classes that we're going to be creating, white, and over here we're going to say explore. So basically that shows what we have done, right? So explore, right? So now that we have that, actually we're done with HTML, and we are ready to move on to CSS and start styling everything, right? So we go to main CSS. Again, I apologize for the next video. I promise there's going to be different colors. I'm really just lazy, and I really suggest you pick your own colors because believe me, you're far better designers than I am. So over here, we're going to go with the body. And as well, for next video, there's going to be a different fonts for sure, right? So just to change it up things, because it is probably annoying that it's all the time the same, but I just like how they look, and I think that if you like something better, it's better if you do it yourself, right? Because I'm not really good at that. So over here, this is going to be header, right? We're going to be selecting the whole header, and over here, again, we're going to be the viewport 100, right? Because we want to select the whole thing. It's like a landing page, right? Once we open up the browser, our whole viewport is right here, right? Then we're going to say a background, and over here, we're going to say background URL, right? And then we need to pick over here from the images, right? So we go to images, and let's say we're going to go to Samson over here, right? This is going to be our images. And then right here, this is going to be the fixed one. This is going to create that parallel effect, right? And now we're here. The only thing is we probably need to add something like this in front, right? And you'll see this sometimes with the brackets. They show the image in live preview, but once you actually click on index HTML, there is a problem that is not showing your, let's say, images, right? Or sometimes it's not reading where is actually the main CSS located if it is a separate folder. And you'll see what I'm talking about the first time you run into it. And then the best things always is try out is a dot and basically giving him a more specific path, right? So the next thing after this, we're gonna obviously do the same things we do all the time, right? So this is gonna be background, position center. Then after that, we're gonna have background repeat. Background repeat, and over here we're going to say no repeat. Then after that we're going to have a background size cover over here, and now we have this one, right? So now our job is to actually work with this and place it in the center and work with a links, right, to make them look more attractive, right? So now we're going to place it again in the center with a flex box center over here, and the next thing that we have is the height, and height is going to be again 100, right? We're going to go for the same one, and then we're going to say the color for this time again white smoke, and then after that we're going to do a display flex, right? So this is the parent element that we're talking about, right? So now you can see that by default, I keep repeating, but this is set as a row, right? So you can see it's a row, but we want actually as a column. So we're gonna write flex direction column, and now you can see that they're back in column. Yeah? So after that, we're gonna have a justify content. And this time, just to make things interesting, right, we're gonna do a flex end, right? And over here, that's why we're gonna add padding. I'm gonna say padding is gonna be like 75 pixels or something like that, right? So now that we have that, let's work with that banner underline, right? So over here we're gonna have a banner underline. That's gonna be our next class that we wanna create. So we're gonna say width. It's gonna be 300 pixels. Then we're gonna have a border. And this is going to be 3 pixel solid. Again, I'm going to go for the orange one. 025. Right, so now we have that, and now we need to place it exactly in the middle, and this is done by 0 pixels. Here is going to be auto. Then we're going to place, like, let's say 40 pixels, right, and auto again, right? So we have this is the top one, this is the bottom, padding, the margin, and auto on the sides, right? And the next thing that we want to do is do the button holder over here, and we're going to say that this is going to be a display. All right, this is going to be again flex. Again, we're working with the buttons right now. You can see separately, right? So now we're like nesting the flex boxes, right? And over here, we're going to say that justify content, and we're going to say that this is going to be center, right? So now they're right next to each other, right? Because now they're set as a row, not as a column, right? You can see by default it's a row, but here we specifically went the other direction, column, right? So now that we have that, now it's time for actual buttons, right? So we have white BTN over here. Then we'll have a navy BTN over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say that the color, it's going to be a white smoke. Right, then we're going to say a font size. It's going to be a 30 pixels. Then we're going to scroll more down. And then we're going to add some margins. Margin and 0, 30 pixels. Right. And over here we're going to say text declaration. None. And over here we're just going to add just in case important. Right, that's always helps if you want to override the Bootstrap style. Border radius, we're going to say, I don't know, 20 pixels, right? Something like this, just to make them round. And padding, 10 pixels, 30 pixels, right? So we're going to make them a little bit bigger. Now the next thing is actually, let's start styling the separate buttons. Right, the first one is going to be navy. We're going to style over here, and what we're going to say, it's going to be border, and it's going to be 3 pixels solid. And now we're going to do the navy one, right? So we're going to have 3 5 3 5 3 1, right? So that's that one. Then after that we're going to have a background color, and over here we're going to say that this is going to be 2 D, probably the capital D, 3 over here, and it's going to be 1 4 2, right? So that's going to be our background color. Now we need to work with a white button. White over here, I'm going to say BTN, right? And over here we're going to open this one up, and we're going to say that this is going to be a border, 3 pixels, solid white smoke, right? And then after that, the last thing that we need to do is pretty much when we're hovering, right? So again, we're going to do this, and we're just going to copy this one, copy over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to say that hover and focus, right? Over here, you know what, navy, we're just going to leave it like it is. We're going to do a hover, right? And then we're going to copy this one, and we're going to say focus over here. And over here, what we're going to do is color. And again, we're going to go for a F15 over here, 025. And then here, background color is going to be white smoke. Background color, white smoke, right? So we have this one. Now let's check it out, right? So now you can see this is happening with a buttons, right? Now the one thing you can see over here that this is not perfectly centered, so we're gonna do a little bit different way, right? So if you see over here this index, right? So instead of display, we're gonna delete that display, right? And then we're gonna save it, and over here we're gonna create a font size. Let's say that we're going to create a banner center font size, right over here, H1. And we're gonna give it, for now, we're gonna give it a font size, let's say something like, I don't know, 200, right? It's still not gonna fit, right? Maybe 150. But because we're gonna be returning to it anyway later, to actually work with our columns in a later sections, we're actually gonna fix this. So once the screen goes smaller, actually our font size is also gonna go smaller. But for bigger screens, this is gonna work with 150 pixels, right? So now that we're done with a banner section, we're ready to move on to the next section. And the next section we're going to create is going to be a qualities section, right? So we're going to start again with a qualities over here, and then we're going to copy this one. We're going to say end of qualities, right? And over here we're going to make more room. And over here, what we're going to do, again, we're going to start with a section. And over here, we're going to say that this section is going to have an ID. And it's going to be qualities over here like this. And then we're going to say that this one has a class. And the class is, you guessed it, container fluid over here like this. And then we're going to say that this is going to have a text center, right? And the first thing that we want to do is actually place over here a title and then the row, right? So the first one is going to be title, right? And then we're going to say this, and we're going to actually create over here a div, right? And we're going to say class, and the class is going to be title again over here like this. And then after that, we're going to have a h1 that's going to have a class display for, right? Over here display 4, right? After that, we're going to say that this is going to be a qualities, right? Qualities over here. And then we're going to say that next one is going to be text underline over here like this. We're going to say div class text underline, right? And after that, we're going to say that this is going to be a paragraph with a class of text muted. Text muted over here. And then we're going to say that we're going to add a lorem dummy text. And again, we're going to delete some of it just to make it more interesting. And after that, after the title, we're going to have a div with a class of row, right? And in the row, we're going to be actually placing the columns, right? So here we're going to say div, and we're going to say class, and here we're going to say that it's column, right? Medium 4, and then we're going to say that this is going to be a column small 6, right? What it means is for the small screen, this is going to be half the screen, and for the medium screen, this is going to be a third of the screen, right? So, and over here we're going to add one more class, services container, over here like this, and then we need to add actually our font awesome icons, right? So over here we're going to save a div, or I'm sorry, we're going to say I, and we're going to say class, and this is going to be fa desktop over here like this. And then the next thing that we would need to do is actually create a h2, and this is going to have a strong, and after strong it's going to be a quality, right? And then we're going to again have another text muted, right? So we're going to create a paragraph with a class, going to be text muted, right? And again the lorem dummy text, right? In this case we don't need to delete it, right? And if we do our math correct, right, so we have this div, we can actually make more space, right? And what we need to do is we need a 6 of them, right? So we 1 2 3 4 5, right? So total should be 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? That's correct. And over here we just need to change what are the font awesome, right? So the first one is a desktop, then we need a mobile, right? Then after that, we're gonna say that this is gonna be a cubes. Here, next one, cubes, right? And then we're gonna have a envelope and magnet, right? So here we're gonna be envelope, right? And here it's gonna be a magnet, and over here should be one more, cubes archive, right? So we're gonna go with archive, right? So now we have 6 of them, right? So the only thing we need to do is go to main CSS. Obviously, again, as always, create just a comment. So it says that this is going to be qualities section, right? Then we're going to copy this one, and over here we're going to say that this is going to be end of qualities section. Then after that, we're going to do a first rule, right? And what should be our first rule? Let's think about it. It's probably going to be title, right? So maybe it's actually better if we write over here that this is going to be end of banner, right? And this might be annoying to write these comments, but believe me, it's after that, when you're looking for something, it's much more easier when you see these comments that they're kind of separators, right? Instead of dealing with just pretty much finding the rules all over the place, right? Trust me, I've done that and it wasn't fun, right? So first title, we're going to say that this is going to have a margin, right? We're going to have a margin, and we're going to say that this is going to be 20 pixels, and we're going to have 0, 40 pixels, and 0, right? So we have that, and then we have a title underline, right? And here we're going to say that this is going to have width of 150, right? Then we're going to have a border, 3 pixel solid over here, and then we're going to say this is going to be F15025, right? So this is going to be a border for title underline, and let's make sure that actual class I added the correct one, because it looks to me that I messed against something over here. Again, well, here it's text underline, right? So it's title underline, right? So we go back and we see why it's not in the center. What are we missing? Because we didn't put the margins in, right? So we have margin, and the margin is going to be 0 pixels auto, and over here 10 pixels auto, right? So now we have placed this one in the center, right? Now this pretty much is the end of for the title. Now we would need to work with a actual qualities, right? So here we have qualities, and we just check it out. What do we need? We don't actually need much for qualities. We have a qualities. We're targeting a div over here like this. Then we say fa, and now we're going to be working with a icons, right? So it's going to be font and the usual size, and we're going to go with like 100 pixels, right? Next one, we're going to have a color, and surprise, surprise, this is going to be a over here the orange one. Then we're going to have a margin bottom. I'm going to give like 10 pixels, and after that we're going to give it a qualities, also a margin, right? So qualities h2. So we have qualities over here, h2, heading 2. Over here we have margin bottom, let's say 20 pixels, right? And if we think about it, that's pretty much all we needed, right? So over here we maybe can, I don't know, give it maybe a different coloring, right? If we want it as a background, if we want something else, right? We can always go with something gray, right? So over here, if we have qualities, blah blah blah, maybe we can do the padding and a and a background. So it's going to be qualities. These over here. And we're going to say that this is going to be a background color. We're going to do it a little bit different one. CED0 CE, right? And over here we're going to say a padding 40 pixels, right? So now that we have completely finished this one, we're actually ready to move on to the next section. And the next section is going to be a project section, right? So over here we're going to say projects section over here like this, and then we're going to copy this one over here, and we're going to say this is going to be end of project section. Now over here again, as always, we're going to start with a section, and we're going to say ID. This is going to be a project over here like this, and then we're going to add a class that we're already familiar with, right? This is going to be a container fluid, right? And over here we're going to say text center over here like this, right? So now that we have this one, let's go ahead and let's get our title, right? We don't need to look far, right? We have the whole thing with actually with a comments all together, right? So we just go over here and we look where we need to add it. It's going to be over here, and then we say title, blah blah blah. Over here we're going to say projects, and then after that we can actually start constructing our columns, right? So over here this is going to be our section, right? And after that we're going to say that this is going to be a div class row, right? And over here we're going to place our columns, right? So over here we're going to say that this is going to be a article, right? Article, right? And this is going to have a class, right? And the class is going to be column small 6, right? So we want on small screens, right? We want half the size, right away. Well, sorry, on the small screen is going to be full size. Starting from a small screen, it's going to be half size, right? So what do we need after that, right? Then we're going to add a write class, and you will see why we're adding write class. Or here we're going to write item 1, and again you will see why we're adding these classes later. It can take me a long time to explain, but it's much more easier if you actually see this. And within this article we're going to place a image, right? And we're going to say the source, and now we need to go to images. And over here, once we get to images, right, we need to find images, but for some reason it's not finding because I wrote it wrong, right? So I have images, and let's say over here we're going to start with Nico over here like this one, right? And then we close it out, and you can see that this is going to be our first image, right? Now there's a couple of things that we need to add, right? Right away we're going to add a class, and this is going to be a Bootstrap class image fluid, right? This is what you see right away. It fits the screen, right? This is the responsive class, right, for the images. And also we can write alternative just in case they cannot read. Let's say that this is going to be building, right? Building over here like this, right? So now that we have this one, we actually need to create the text, right? So what we need, another article, right? Over here underneath this one, and we're going to change it around a little bit, right? So over here we're going to say that this is going to be a article, right? And again it's going to have the same class, but instead this is going to be a text, right? So I'm going to have a class, and over here it's column small, right? And then this one we're going to give it a box. This is going to be another class that we're creating, and this is going to be item 2. All right, and here what we're going to place inside is going to be a heading 1, right, where we're going to write this is going to be one of project, right? And then we're going to add another paragraph. This is going to be class lead, right? And over here we're going to say that this class lead is going to have a dummy text, right? Something very simple, right? So now we have our first 2 let's say columns, right? One picture and one text, right? So we need 2 more sections like this, right? So we take this one, and we copy and copy one more time, right? So over here, what we need to change is everything else stays the same, right? But for the third one, we're gonna have to change around a little bit, right? 3 and 4, like this one is gonna stay the same. The last two are gonna stay the same, but this one we're gonna have to change around a little bit, right? Because remember, we want a different look, right? We don't want them to be looking like this. We want this one to be actually here, right? And the text on the other side, right? So first things first, before we forget, most important thing is right now I want to set these items, right? So I want to set this one 6, this one I want to set 5 over here like this, and then let's go up, right? Over here, where was the thing, right? So this was our first two, right? This was our second one, right? So now we want 3 and 4, right? So we will gonna take this one out, cut this one, and actually find the end of this one, right? So we're gonna change them a little bit around. This we're gonna add as item 3, right? And this is gonna have a box, right? Over here we're gonna change it a little bit around. We're gonna say left, and this is gonna be item 4, right? And now let's check it out. What do we have, right? So you see now we have what we wanted, right? Now there's plenty of things we need to fix, right? First, it's going to be the actual paddings, so they would actually match, right? Then we need to place these in center. And then, obviously, one thing you can see on the smaller screens, right? If we go to small, they're going to stack up, right? And they're going to stack up not the way we want, right? So we want picture and then text, picture, text. And now we have 2 text. So that we're going to adjust actually with CSS media. Media selections, right? But for the HTML, actually we are done, right? And over here, we need to start styling everything, right? So let's go to main CSS, right? And where is our qualities? And I'm gonna say projects over here, and copy this, well, one too many. And over here we're going to say end of projects, and here we're going to start styling everything, right? So let's go down so we can see what is it that we're doing. So first one is projects, right? That's the whole actual section that we're targeting, right? And over here we're going to say a padding, right? And we want only the padding on the top, and then we want 0, 0, 0, right? And after that, we want a background color, right? And the background color that we want is going to be 2, over here, D3, 1, 4, 2, right? So this is going to be this navy one, right? And after that, what we would want is color. It's going to be a text color, white smoke, right? So now we start actually rolling somewhere, right? Now, how do we get rid of those paddings, right? How do we do that? How do we do this, right? So it's actually very, very simple, right? Remember when we added these classes like left and right, yeah? And the reason why we call them that, pretty much you just, so exactly they the same, right? So for the class left, right, I'd want the left padding to be 0. So you can see that this is the class left, right? So this padding I want 0. So I just write padding left, 0, right? You can see how it actually grew. And the same thing we need to do for the padding right, right? So we're gonna have right, and we do the opposite. We do a padding, and we do padding right. And we set that one to 0, right? So now we're already much more closer where we want to be. Okay, what is next? Next is placing these in center, right? And this time we did a little bit differently, where we actually created remember the box, right? That was our class. And we actually need to go again and style the box, right? And just because it's kind of separate, let's go all the way to the top, right? And I'm just gonna again create box, and this is gonna be box, end of box, right? And now we're going to style the box, right? And what we're going to do is, again, we're going to do it with a help of flexbox, right? So this is going to be, again, our parent container. I'm going to say display flex over here like this. So now I can see that I'm already working, right? It is stacked right now as a row, right? I'm sorry, I sound like a broken record, but it is, you know, I kind of just need to repeat that, right? Flex direction, column, right? Back to column, right? And the last thing we need to do, justify content, center. That's it. That was pretty much 3 steps that we need to do if we want to center something like this, right? If it would be a row, if we would want it to actually center it horizontally, it would be a little bit different, just because we'd be changing the axis. But if we want to do it like this, this is how it would be done, right? Now, a couple of more things that we need to do with media screen, right? Remember this one. This is what we didn't like, right? This hasn't changed, right? So we scroll all the way to the bottom, because this is going to be different. This is what we're going to say that this is going to be media, right? And we're just going to change it for a smaller screens, the order. And again, we're just going to use the flex box, right? Because remember why we were so idiotic about setting these items, right, in order, right? Because we want to change that order. That was the whole deal, right? So we go back, and over here we write at media, right? And we write screen, right? And over here max width, right? So if the screen is larger, then we don't care. But if the screen is actually smaller, right, we want to change it. And over here, we're going to say 572. I believe it's 576 or 5. Don't hold me responsible. It's really, you can have a look at where it actually happens. But before we deal with the project, remember that we had a banner center over here, right? H1, right? Remember this guy, right? So let's actually set for the smaller screen a different value. Right, so we're going to say that this is going to have a font size, and I don't know, let's start with 75, right? Not good. 50, better. 60. This is where it'll be, right? So we have builders over here, but it only works on a small screen. You can see that the moment it's going to get bigger and bigger. So we probably need to add a couple of more. Pretty much only from this screen is going to be fine, right? So what is the way of actually looking at that, right? So let's say we go to inspect, right? And we check it out. What is the pixels over here, right? So you were working with a Google, with the Chrome, the developer tools, right? So we set this one, and we're just looking what's happening, right? So on this screen, it's fine, and then it's so weird. Like 572 is going to be fine, right? 578 is bad, right? And when it becomes normal, right? So we're looking, right? So I don't know. Let's say to only 800, maybe then it's working fine, right? So maybe let's change this one, right? So maybe let's make this one to let's say 800, right? And again, we can do a gradual one, right? If I wouldn't be lazy, I would probably make 2 of them. But since I just really, you understand the idea, right? So we're just counting the pixels, and then we're looking where it's changing, right? I really want to save a little bit of time. So we're just going to have 1, right? So we're going to have 1 small one. And now you can see over here that we have a normal screen, right? That's actually becoming only big when we're actually for a bigger screen, right? If we're on a smaller screen, the heading 1 is going to be a little bit smaller. Again, we can fix that by changing the actual grid. Let's say adding more media screens, but we're not going to do that, right? Just remember that now, since we went to Chrome Developer Tools, we actually, there is no more live preview, right? So you need to start, if you're working with brackets, you need to actually start a new one again, right? Because it's gonna be gone, right? So let's go back actually to our task, right? Our task in hand, and this is gonna be a media. We're gonna say screen, and over here again we're gonna say max width, again, I believe it was 572 or 6, something like that. Let's do fun. Let's do 6 this time, right? And it's very simple, actually, right? So we go back and we say, remember we said projects, and we had a class row, right? That's the one that holds all the columns, all of them, right? And over here we'd say that this is going to be display flex, right? But it's only on this screen size, right? It's not going to be all over, right? Flex direction, again we're going to say column, right? We're pretty much doing pretty much the same thing like they're standing, right? The difference is right now, right? What we need to do is, it's not going to be in this rule, right? This is a separate rule. And we're just going to go one by one. We're going to say class item 1 over here. And this is going to be order 1. Order 1, right? Okay, that's the same. And what we need to do is over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe we need like 5, yeah? So we have over here order 2, right? Here, the difference is that for the 3, we're going to make it 4, and for the 4, we're going to make it 3 over here, and this is going to stay the same, right? So we have over here 5, and this is going to be 6, and that's it, and we're actually done. And now you can see that I have actually, they are sitting exactly like I want them to be, right? So we can move on. And one thing probably where I messed up, I didn't add different images, right? It's the same image, right? So let's go back, index, and let's just check it out where we have our images, right? So we're going to have images, and this is going to be a different, right? I'm going to go images, and then which one we have? We have Samsung, we have Lance over here. Save it, and blah, 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 blah. Over here, this one, right? Or this one was the first one, no? And this should be another third image that you have. Images, Marina Perez, yeah, here we go. So now we have 3 different images, and the text is right underneath where we want it, right? So now we can actually save this and move on to our next section. So the next section we're going to be building is going to be a contact us section, right? So we're going to go back over here. We're going to say that this is going to be a contact section, right? And again, we're just going to over here copy this, and over here we're going to say contact, I don't know, probably end, right? Over here end, and over here we're going to start creating, right? We're going to say section, we're going to be ID, and this is going to be contact over here, and then we're going to have a class. This is going to be container, fluid, right? And then we're going to say text center, right? So we have that, and then of course over here, as you know by now, right, we have our title, right? So let's go and check it out where we have our title. I think this one is over here, right? So we have a title, so we just copy the title, right? And this is gonna be a little bit different. You can see I didn't copy the whole thing, and we just copy this one, and we just go back, and let's say that we're gonna go over here and go to the section, right? Now that we have copied the title, we actually need to create a div, right? And you can see that I did something totally unnecessary, right? So we need to go back to the normal screen, no split, right? And over here we have the default settings, not what we want. So we need to create a div, right? So I'm going to say div class, and this is going to be row, and after the div class row, we're going to say that this is going to be a let's say column large 6, right? So we're going to say div class, I'm going to say column large, and we're going to say that this is going to be 6, right? So only for big screens is going to be half, otherwise it's going to be full screen, right? And here we're going to create another form groups, right? So we're going to have div, we're going to say class, and we're going to say that this is going to be form, right? Form group, and over here we're going to say that this is going to be input, and type, and over here it's going to be text, right? And text we're going to say ID, it's going to be first name over here, and over here we're going to say class, and the class is going to be form control. It's going to be form, and this is going to be control, and then we're going to say that this is going to be a input large, right? I'm going to say input, I'm going to say large, and after that we're going to say that this is going to have placeholder, and not what we wanted, placeholder, and we're going to say placeholder is going to be first name, right? And let's see what we have. All right, so now we have our first form, and again what we need to do is just technically copy this one, just make it a little bit easier for me to copy. And what we're going to do is I'm going to say copy, and over here we just have 1, 2, let's say 4, yeah. So that's what we needed. And we have over here input, right? This is going to be our input. And then we need to say where's another div, right? So this is another div. This is going to be another div. This is going to be another div. And before we forget, let's make the button again. Button, right? So we're going to say that this is going to be a type. And over here we're going to say submit. And we're going to say class. And over here is going to be button, let's say block over here, and over here we're going to write submit over here like this. And now we obviously need to fix these ones, and this is going to be type text, but the thing is good, this is going to be a last name, and over here we're going to say last name, here it's going to be a telephone, and over here we're going to ID is going to be phone, and over here we're going to say that this is going to be a phone number, and here we're going to have a email. So here's text, email, and first name is going to be a mail or email, and here is going to be email address, email address. Okay, so now we have that, right? So now we need to embed a video, right? So once we have this div, we just need to check where the row ends, right? So we have this one, so we can see that it ends over here, right? So right over here we can create div class column large 6, over here, and now the magic starts to happen, right? First we're going to say div, and then we're going to have class, and over here the class is going to be embed, right? And then we're going to say responsive over here like this, and then we need to write again embed responsive, right? But here we need to write what would be preferred, right? So we can do 16 by 9, right? So we can do that, or we can do, let's say, 4 by 3, right? That's also an option. That really is up to you. I'm gonna go with 16 by 9, and then within this div we're gonna place our iframe. That's gonna be our video, right? So we're gonna say a iframe over here. We're going to have class, and over here we need to add a class, again a Bootstrap class, embed, right? And responsive item, right? And here we're gonna write a source, and I'm obviously gonna point to my video, right? So I'm gonna say HTTP s, right? Then we're gonna have a /, and this is gonna be a youtube.com, and over here we're gonna say embed, right? /, and this is gonna be my ID for the video, right? So SGP over here R and 5, right? Close it in. You can see that this should be my video. Is everything is correct? Well, an error has occurred, right? So we'll figure out what's happening over here, but at least we got the video rolling, and the reason is because I didn't write the full thing. So here it's VG over here PM, right? And now it's my video, right? So it is working. Everything is fine, and we're actually done with HTML, right? So again, we can save it. We can go to main CSS, right? And we can actually start styling everything, right? So now we have, which one do we have? We should have a contact, right? That's going to be our section. So somewhere in between the medium, I'm going to have a contact. And over here, we're going to have also a contact. And this is going to be end of contact. And over here, we're going to write few rules. Actually, not many. Right? We're going to have a contact. And over here, we're going to say padding, 40 pixels. Then we'll have a background color, white smoke. Then we're going to have a contact form control, right? A contact over here, form control, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to say border radius, their radius, and we're going to say this is going to be 0, right? And here we're going to have font size is going to be 20 pixels. Okay, so now that we have this, we need to style the contact button. Button over here, and that's going to be background color, and we're going to say that this is going to be a 3531, right? So that's going to be that. Font size, we're going to say that this is going to be a 24. Then we're going to say that this is going to be color, and over here we're going to say that magic orange, right? And then margin bottom 20, right? So 20 pixels, right? And the last thing is actually contact button hover. So we can copy this one over here. And let's say we're going to do this, hover. And we're going to say background color. And we're going to say that this is going to be CE over here. And this is going to be D0CE. Right, so this is going to be our background color. So now that we're done with this, we can actually go and make our footer and style it. So we have successfully arrived at our last section. So congratulations on that. I mean, I don't know to me or to you, but over here we're going to say that this is going to be a footer, right? Section over here. And over here we're going to do the usual gig, right? Now I'm going to show you something a little bit else once we're done setting up everything, right? So we're going to say ID, and this is going to be footer over here like this. And then we're going to say that this is going to be class. This is going to be container fluid over here. And then we're going to say this is going to be a text center, right? And then we're going to have the actual title, right? Like we normally do, like we always do. And let's go and have a look. Where is our title, right? And over here, we're just going to copy this title, right? And we're going to copy this one. And let's say that we're going to paste this one over here, right? Now, what I want to show you is that See over here, right? You can see that I keep pretty much repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating everything, right? So one of the extensions in the brackets, right? And the people who are using the brackets knows what it is. And the reason why I'm not using it is because I don't know how many people are actually using the brackets, right? So over here we have a footer section, right? And this is what we would want, right? The comments and everything, right? All our basic setup, right? So what we can do is copy this one over here. And once we have saved this, right, we go over here to extension and we create a new one. And over here we can say that this is going to be sect, something like this. Then we say that this is going to be a basic section, right? Scope, we're going to say that this is going to be obviously HTML, right? And over here we just paste. Okay, and that's it. And save and create, right? And this is going to be a sect, basic section, right? So what do we do? Over here, we can just cancel this one, right? And close this one. And let's say if we have another section, we just write sect, basic section, and that's it, we're done, right? So obviously we don't need to retype it every time, but again, I don't know how many people are using the brackets and how many not, and so that's the reason why maybe it's annoying that I'm retyping, right? So let's get back to the task in hand, right? So we have a section, right? Now we would want a div, right, with a class, and this is going to be a row over here like this. And then with the row, we're going to say that this is going to be a div, and this is going to be a class. And over here we're going to say this is column small, and over here 4, right? This is going to be text left, and over here we're going to create a address inside, right? We're going to say this is going to be h2, and we're going to say this is going to be address, right? I hope I spelled this one correctly. Now after that we're going to have a paragraph. This is going to be 3422. Here's Sunset Boulevard, right? We're going to say a line break over here like this. And then we're going to have a Los Angeles, blah, blah, blah. And over here we're going to have California, and then we need to have a zip code, right? So we're going to say 90029, something like this, right? Then we're done with this div, right? With the div left, right? Now we need to create another one, and what we can do is we can pretty much again write div class. And again, column small 4 text. This time we're going to say center. And over here in the center, we're just going to write that this is going to be h2. And we're going to say that this is going to be contacts. And over here, we're going to have a 3 paragraphs, right? So we're going to say paragraph, and we're going to say phone. And this is going to be, I don't know, like few 9s, let's put it this way, 1 2, and over here we're gonna delete this one, and we're gonna say that this is gonna be a fax, and I don't know, again a few 9s, right? I don't need to write it over there. I'm gonna say 99999 again, and this is gonna be email, which is gonna be email at email.com. email.com, right? So we have these paragraphs, and now we need to create one more, which is going to be for the website, and then we're going to have another one for the actual actual icons and everything else, right? So let's go ahead and let's create one more text center, right? So we're going to have a div class over here, and we're going to say this is going to be another column small 4 text right, and over here we're going to say websites. That's going to be the class that we add later. And over here, and here we're going to say that this is going to be links, h2 links, right? And we're going to say that this is h2 is done, and we're going to say that this is going to be h ref here, and we're going to say this is dummy link, right? Your website here, and we're going to copy this 1, 2, 3 times, right? And now we need to create a lower row, right? So we need to check where this row ends. It ends over here. We're going to put a line break like this, and we're going to create another row, and this is going to be different. This is going to be for our icons and our copyrights. Okay, so we go back again, we say div class row, lower row, and again we have a div class, and this is going to be column small 6, right? Over here we're going to create another div class footer, right? Footer icons over here, and here we're going to write that this is going to be a first let's create more space so we don't mess up. Footer icons, we're going to say awesome, right? So start with href over here like this, close this one out, then we say I, and then we say class, and then we say Facebook. And again, pretty much what we'll be doing is 1, 2, 3, whatever, 5, whatever, how many we have, 4, 5, right? So here we just need to delete this one. And actually I made a mistake. I don't want the first one. The first one is fine. Starting from the second one, I would want to delete. So we're here, and then we write Twitter, right? We start with Twitter, and then we have what else we have? We have Instagram, and then we have a Google Plus, and then we have LinkedIn. There we go. Now that we're done with this is going to be a row. So our last one is going to be div class here, column small 6 over here. And what we want to do is div class, and this is going to be copyrights. And once we have that, then we need to create a h3, and over here the ampersand, where it is, over here, and we're going to write copy, and we're going to say that this is going to be a copyrights and 2017 by Coding Addict, right? Over here like this. And now that we are done with this, we can actually go to main CSS and style everything, right? So for the footer, yeah, it's going to be a few rules. We're going to spend a little bit of time over here. So let's go, which was the media contact, right? So over here, we're going to say that this is going to be footer. And we just need to style it, right? So we're going to start with footer. And over here, we're going to say the padding, it's going to be 40 pixels. Then we're going to say color, white smoke. Over here like this. Then we're going to have a background color. 3.5 something 3.5 3.1, right? The black one. Then we have no, actually that's it. I don't think we need to do anything. So here is going to be footer. Header, title, but we don't actually need to do that. We're gonna skip this part. We're not gonna be attacking the footer, right? So we're gonna deal with this, right? And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna see a footer h2, right? This is gonna be these contacts over here. So we're going to say that, let's say footer, and this is going to be a h2, and h2, let's say we would want a, let's say margin bottom, right? We're going to say 20 pixels, right? Then after that we would want a footer actual paragraph, footer paragraph. I'm going to say that this is going to have a font size 20 pixels, right? So let's check it out. What do we have so far? So we have links, and over here we have something like this, right? So we go back and we look at over here. What do we have? Right, so we have a footer P, then we need to work on links, right, over here. So we go over here, and we go over here, and we start working with a footer websites, right? So we have a footer, then we say websites, and then we say a, and then we're going to say that this is going to be text decoration none, and this is going to be important, and then we're going to have a color. It's going to be a F15025, right? Then after that we're going to have a font size 20 pixels, right? Then after that we're going to have a footer websites hover, right? So when we're hovering, so we're just going to copy this and over here, and over here hover, and we're going to say that this is going to be color. This is going to be a C, over here C, E, D, 0, C, E, right? So this is going to be when we're hovering, and then we'll have a footer HR, and now we're going to make that line background color white smoke, and then we're going to have a lower row and footer icons, right? That's still something that we have left to do. And over here we're going to say that this is going to be a lower row. This is going to be margin top. I'm going to say like 40 pixels, right? Then we're going to have a footer icons, and we're going to say that this is going to be a font size 20 pixels. Then we're going to deal with actual footer icons links, right? So we're going to copy this and links here like this. We're going to say color, and over here we're going to say that this is going to be a 90909090. And that's going to be the color that we're going to pick. And over here we're going to say text decoration none, and after that we have a footer icons when we're hovering, right? So we have footer, and we have footer icons, right? We have a, it's going to be hover, and then we're going to have color white smoke, and over here we'll have the last one is the copyrights, right? So we have to do that. Footer copyrights over here H3, and over here we're going to say color, and again we're going to use a CED0 CE, right? So this is going to be a color, right? Now the last thing that we need to do, we obviously need to fix something over here, right? So it is not looking like this. And what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the index, right? We're going to find where are our links, and we're just going to add a line breaks there. So that way we're going to have a look that we want, right? And over here we can go back and we can check it out, the main CSS, what happens, right? So if we go down, you can see that this is how it's going to look, right? So now the links are looking like that. And obviously by choice we picked text align left, center, and right, right? So we wanted that look. And then if we go here, this is going to look like this, right? So now we're done with this one. Now we can quickly make a flexbox navbar. So in order to make a navbar from the flexbox, we're going to go all the way to the top of index.html and actually above our header, right? We're going to, over here, we're going to create a unordered list, and within unordered list, over here, we're going to create some list items, right? And each list item is going to contain a link over here like this, href, right? Something like this. And then here is going to be a dummy link, right? But over here, we're going to say that this is going to be home, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to copy these ones 4 times. And over here, we're going to say that this is going to be qualities, right? And this is also going to be qualities. And then here, this one, we're going to delete. This one, we're going to delete. And we're going to make this one. We're going to say this is going to be a project, right? The only problem is here. And over here, we're going to say that this is going to be a contact. And this is going to be contact, right? Now we're going to save this one. We're going to go to main CSS. We're going to go all the way to the top. Where's the box? I'm going to say this is going to be our nav. This is going to be the end of nav. And here we're going to place some rules, right? And the first thing that we need to do is actually have the unordered list, right? We're going to say that unordered list needs to have 0 padding. Right, it needs to have a margin of 0 too. Then it needs to have a display, right? And we're going to say flex, right? Because this is going to be the parent element, right? So now you can see how they're all formed as a row. Then we're going to say justify content space around, right? And then we're going to have flex, and we're going to say that this is going to be a no wrap, right? I'm sorry, we're going to say flex wrap. We're going to say wrap. I'm going to say that this is going to be wrapping, right, if it has to. Then next, what we're going to do is we're going to say that ULLI, right, and over here we're going to say that this is going to be a flex, right, and we're going to say that this is going to be a 1, this is going to be 0, this is going to be auto, right. Then we're going to say that this is going to be text align center. And then after that, we're going to say that this is going to be a list style type, and we're going to say this is none. And then we're going to say that the background color is going to be different, right? So background color, and we're going to say that this is going to be a background color of CED0 CE, right? Something like this. And over here, you can see that we missed none. Right, and now we already have something going on. Then we're gonna have a list item over here like this, and then we're gonna say that this is gonna be a text decoration none. We don't want, and this is gonna be a important because we're gonna be overriding a Bootstrap class. Display, we're gonna say this is gonna be block. Then we're going to say that this is going to have padding, 5 pixels, right? And then color. And we're going to say the color is going to be 2D3, or here like this. 142, right? This is going to be our color. And then the last one is when we're hovering, right? So I'm going to say Lee A over here, hover. And we're going to come up with something, right? Color, white smoke. Then over here, background color is going to be our favorite, right? 15025. And the last one is going to be color over here, and this is going to be a 2 D1 do D3 142. And now we have our menu, right? Our navbar menu that's made out of Flexbox. This is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.